I get a lot of egg recipes. I have my lane. I have ducks too. Those are pretty good.
Eggs are probably the most complete whole food that exists.
That's what you were telling me.
It's really
like the perfect meat, the perfect.
Everything's there. I mean, less of them is just and I like to do eggnog so I don't cook them. Just mix them up with almond milk and add some maple syrup. Oh man, it's over the top.
What do you do?
I'll take eggs and almond milk and add some maple syrup and put it in a blender.
Really?
It's the most delicious drink you ever had, and it'll hold you all day. It's
really?
It's powerful food.
You decided not to eat eggs recently, Paul.
I'm still eating eggs.
Oh, I thought you said you.
No, I'm telling you, I am. Yeah, I'll always eat eggs.
I'll have to try that. So just maybe if I were to put in a blender, maybe 6 eggs, maybe a half cup of milk or almond milk.
Yeah, I don't like dairy. I mean, again, how unless it's your own, because animals are so.
I get fresh raw milk from my neighbor.
That would be cool. And then maple syrup is such a powerful food. You think about it, it's the lifeblood of a tree, and it's alkalinizing. See, honey, which is really good for you, is acid forming, but maple syrup is alkalizing, and it has so many minerals. Maple syrup is a
you get the real stuff too.
The real stuff,
not the Aunt Jemima.
No. Aunt Jemima is not maple syrup. It's sugar crap. See, God didn't create refrigerators. We don't need them. It's unnecessary. If you look at like before a chicken sits on an egg in hot climates, they'll lay a dozen eggs before they sit on them because they want a flock. They'll sit out there in that hot temperature. They don't rot. They're fine because there's a natural coating on the eggshell that preserves them.
They'll last right there probably about 4 or 5 months.
Exactly. I never put my eggs in the refrigerator.
We can just put ours in our basement. We have a basement.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Chilled.
Yeah.
Well, I like how you don't. I have to buy feed for my chickens and ducks just because I'm not where you are right now. So that'll change. Yeah.
But I mean, you can even feed them weeds. I mean, all of your everything.
They live entirely. They free range all day, and then I put them back in. They're free ranging all day long.
They should be fine. You shouldn't have to feed them grain.
Shouldn't have to give them anything.
No. If they'll lay more eggs if you feed them grain, but if you have plenty of chickens, you don't have to have more eggs. And they'll live. Again, look at where you live. There's pheasants out in nature.
And grouse and everything. Yeah.
Grouse, and no one's feeding them grain. They're just eating grass. Oh, in the summer when it goes to seed, they have some seed, but not much, and they're thriving. They're doing fine. So you don't need. If you have plenty of greens for them, they don't need any grain.
I live in the middle of the woods like this.
Yeah, you don't need to feed them. You'll have less eggs because if you give them grain, they'll produce more eggs. But who cares? And I'll tell you, the egg yolks are a lot darker orange when they get nothing but greens. They're a lot better egg, the quality.
Bugs and everything.
Yeah, sure.
Right now they're probably getting lazy because they're so used to me keeping their feed full. They go out and
just
supplement.
Just don't. You'll be you'll notice the egg quality will really improve by not giving them grain.
Now they'll be forced to go out and forage.
They will. They know how. These loggers here, 80 years old, still working. Young guys, 40 years old, they're back, and all they're doing is working equipment, running levers. Those guys hand sawed stuff. I mean, and they're 80 years old, still going. I mean, wake up, human race. We were designed to lift, move, and exercise, not sit and do nothing.
I agree, man. Look, why do we have autism, ADD, diabetes? All these things are from our complacent. And again, I was living that way, man. I was living in a gated community, all that stuff, and I woke up and said, "I'm getting my family out of here, man. I'm moving to North Idaho." I went from a gated community to Albertsons across the street. Everything was right here, and where we live now, we're what, 8 miles from town.
40 miles from anything.
Yeah, we're 11 miles from town.
Yeah, so I love it. It's great for her.
And I don't. So my wife travels the world now teaching midwifery. When she comes back, she always says the same thing. Everything's in the refrigerator just like I left it. I says, Carol, I don't use the refrigerator. There's nothing in there I want. I eat everything outside. There's nothing. What do I want? Dead stuff.
And she's a midwife?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And she goes to people's homes and does it?
And she does home birth.
That's pretty
cool. Now she's teaching traditional midwifery all over the world.
Teaching what?
Teaching traditional midwifery, teaching people how to do it all over the world. She's heading out next week. Next week she's going to Ecuador.
Really?
Yeah, I'm taking her to the airport Thursday.
So is there like somebody that's bringing her out there? And
yeah, she teaches with a group called Midwifery Today, and she's been in China, Russia, Israel, all over the world.
Wow.
Years ago, teaching people. And basically, you know, what I think is so cool is that she's just basically giving the gospel, because, you know, God created birth to empower women. It's the most empowering experience a woman could ever have, is to have a natural childbirth. And God created women to be powerful. And birth totally empowers them. They become a mother bear, nothing stops them. They're amazing. Where you can see how the enemy has so stolen that from women. They give them epidurals, cesareans, and totally rob them of this empowering experience. And she's teaching women how they can have these incredible, wonderful births naturally, and they're totally just blown away. You know. And again, God created birth to be awesome. And you see, the enemy is so corrupted, you know, kind of thing. It's just, like I said, this is so good. And you see children, when they're given live food, well, they're good. And you see, if they're given live food, they have no attraction to junk.
Their third one.
What about that kid with the allergies?
Well, he was allergic to apples. This was awesome. A little 9-year-old boy came here. He was allergic to apples. And I was doing the tour, you know, and he comes up to me and he says, you know, I can't eat apples, I'm allergic to them. And I tell you, the Holy Spirit came in and I looked at the little boy and says, let me tell you something, young man. You were created in the image of God and you're fearfully and wonderfully made. There's nothing wrong with your body. It's the apples that are wrong. And he thought, wow. And it says, while you're here, you're welcome to eat apples and you won't react. So you don't understand. When I eat apples, my throat gets all red, it swells up, I can hardly breathe. And I said, I do understand. Your body is totally trying to protect yourself. The apples are poisonous, and it's reacting to the poison in the apples. These aren't poisonous. And so it was so cool to watch him. He's watching these people eating these Akani apples and all commenting, oh man, this is so good. Look at all the water, and oh, it smells so nice. And you can see his little eyes just like, wow. So Faith rose up and he took one and he starts eating it. He gets 3/4 of the way through and he starts yelling at the top of his lungs, I'm not reacting. I'm allergic to apples. I'm not reacting. And I thought it was so, yay, God. And this kid got it. There's nothing wrong with you. And you know, God is so cool. When he tries to get something, he always does it in 2s or 3s. The next week, a woman comes from upper state New York with her kids. And she's allergic to apples. I can't eat apples. She ate 3 and one after another, totally no reaction. I'm just telling you, man, it's huge. And we're in a time now that stuff in the store is unsafe to eat. And so if you'll have apples like that, this is going to be such a valuable resource. And I'm telling you, in time, these kind of things are going to be so valuable in the marketplace.
For bartering?
Or for
sharing
anything,
with
anything. Because they're unavailable.
Barter's
You have clean, live food. I'll just give you an example. My daughter Devorah, when she was young, she's kind of a character, and she lives up with me, she's really powerful. When she was a teenager, she wanted to do something on a weekend. She'd go out to my garden and pick all the stuff. She says, Dad, take me to the farmer's market. Now, farmer's markets are, you have to have like a designated spot, and you got to pay for it. She just shows up with all this stuff, sits on the concrete floor, and in less than a half hour, she sold out to all the vendors. The vendors, the people selling produce, were buying her stuff, and in a half hour, she had all her money was gone. And I'm watching this as I took her there, and I'm thinking like, whoa. And I'm realizing that when you grow stuff like this, I mean, these are farmers who are making a living on growing their stuff, and they're buying hers. And no shopper could get to her stuff because the vendors bought her out.
And they turn around and make a buck on it.
No, they took it home and ate it because because it was better than stuff they grew.
That was their own stash.
So my point is that when you're growing really good stuff, you will not be able to meet the market demand.